For solving MCQs, you don't just need the knowledge, but there's a need of a knack, a presence of mind during the exam to solve any MCQs. No matter how much we read before the exams, how much well versed we are with the theory, but the how well we are able to handle our overthinking mind during the exam by seeing all those options matters a lot in any MCQ exam. Hi guys, this is Sneha, a final year medical student from Bangalore. Well, I need to get used to that. Anyways, with having solved for more than 10,000 MCQs, this is from the NEET UG days, I have definitely figured out some tips that have helped me make the process of solving MCQs a little bit easier. So here I'm sharing them with you guys. So the first thing is read the entire question before arriving at your answer or before choosing your answer, because upon reading a few words, a starting few words or a line of the question, we get tempted to answer the question because we might have figured out a word which we know, or we might have figured out a concept which we know, and we tend to search for the answers. But that's the first mistake we do. We should read the entire question, and we should not get into the emotions of answering the question fast. Instead, we should have the patience to read the entire question, because there may be certain catch words at the end, like except or all except or which is not. So those words can change the answer entirely. So it's very important to read the entire question before arriving at the answer. With all the discussion going on around the clinical long stem questions and the hype around it, we often tend to panic on seeing a 10-line long question for a single word answer. So, whenever I see a long stem clinical question, the first thing I do is go to the last line of the question and read what is being asked. So when we know what is being asked, what parameter is being assessed in the question, then when we go back and read the entire question, we can know which points to focus on, which points can help us arrive at the answer. So it can save a little bit of time, because first, if we read the entire question and then when in the last line when something else is being asked and we might have not focused on that keyword, so we will have to reread the question again. So when you know what is being asked and then go ahead and read the entire clinical stem, that can make the process a little bit easier. Another very important point is to read all the options before choosing the best one, because when we start reading the question and when we go through the options, sometimes we spot a word which we are familiar with or which is directly correlating with the question. So we go ahead and choose the answer, but in online exams, it's okay. We can change the answer at any point in time before we submit. But in case of offline exams where we shade the answers in the OMR sheet, it's difficult to change the answer once we have already shaded it. Even if we tamper with it, we can't guarantee that the OMR scanner will scan our second option, or what will happen, which response of ours will be assessed. We can't guarantee it. The next point is a little bit related to the previous one. Sometimes we may not find the correct option among the given options, or sometimes we may find more than one correct option for the given question. So the key here is to choose the best option among the given options. Also, again, we need to read the entire sentence of the options, because again there may be certain catchwords at the end of the option, or the way in which the sentences in the options are framed, it may lead to a different meaning than the actual answer. So we need to go through the entire sentence, and still if we feel that there are more than one correct answers for the given question, we need to choose the single best one. This is in the single best correct answers I'm saying. If the exam is of multiple correct, then we can go ahead and choose the both the options, but we need to choose the single best answer in case of multiple correct answers. And in case you don't find a single best answer, you feel that all of these options are not correlating with the parameter being asked in the question, again we need to choose the closest answer to the closest option to the given answer. If you feel that a question is taking too much of your time, then skip that question for that point in time, and go ahead and solve other questions, because ultimately all questions have equal weightage. So instead of getting stick on to that one question, you can go ahead and solve the other questions which you know, and you can definitely come back to this question later on in time, or you can just skip it in exams which have negative marking. It often happens that we feel that we know the answer to the particular question, but we are not able to recollect it during the exams. then we get offended, we take it on our ego to solve that question, and we keep on wasting more time on that particular question. This is where we make a mistake. If we face such kind of situation in an exam that has negative marking, then we are making two mistakes. First of all, we are spending more time on a question which we might or might not arrive upon the correct answer. And second of all, because of that pressure of not knowing the answer or not arriving at the correct answer, we might get a thought block which can affect our thinking process for the further questions, and the other questions which might be easy, which might be easily scoreable, we tend to miss on those points just because we are adamant on solving this question. So it's better to skip that questions as of now. Like the previous point, it's better to skip those questions, and if time permits you can arrive at it later on. So the last point is, you don't actually have to know the answer to get the MCQ right. Yes, you heard it right. So when we come across a question, when we have no clue regarding what is being asked in the question, we have two options basically. Either we can skip the question or we can stick on to it. When we are sure of scoring a certain amount of marks, or when we are pretty sure of the other questions we have answered, then we can totally skip it and avoid taking risk. But when we have to answer a question, then what we can do is we can just go through the options, and on reading the options sometimes we get to know that certain options are definitely not the answer for the question being asked. We might be knowing more about the options being given in the question, so by exclusion we can arrive at the answer. As they say in medicine, the diagnosis of exclusion, similarly by the process of exclusion or by the process of elimination, we can arrive at the right answer, and this one has worked many times for me. So this was a short video sharing the tips that I followed that has helped me solve the MCQs, making the process of solving MCQs a little easier. If you find it helpful, do share it with your friends who might find it helpful as well. Until next time, take care.